Okay, I'll call it order again at 7:02 still. Previous minutes, did everybody have a chance to look over the previous minutes? And is there any adjustments or corrections? John?
I saw nothing wrong with the minutes.
Excellent. Lance?
Abstain, I was absent for that meeting.
Your mic's also off.
Abstain.
Yeah, turn them all on anymore.
I was absent from the meeting.
Any adjustments, Brenda?
None.
And Terry?
Nope.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of October 10th as presented.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain, Lance Sawyer.
Motion passes 4-0 with Lance abstaining. Reports and warrants are going around. I have, let's email reports here. So we also have the delinquent tax report from Kathy. I believe this is as of October 10th. This is the letter that has been sent out. If everybody wanted to set down through.
And that number is lower than it's been in quite some time.
Well, that's a good thing. Thank you, everybody who's paid your taxes. We appreciate it. This is the risk management report for all of our town buildings, I believe. If you so choose to look through it. Well, maybe this is just for the library. I have spoken wrong, this is just for the library. So if anybody wants to look through the risk report for the library, that
Your
is.
audio is crappy,
Thanks, Linda.
loud, buzzing, wicked. I'm not staying on.
Okay.
This is awful. You better return that equipment.
Thanks, Linda.
Clark,
I'd hate to say it, but I think it's better than what we had about 5 years ago.
Well, what
think-
we're doing
I
We didn't have
think it's
anything
when-
5 years ago.
to address
I hate to
Linda's
say it, but
comment.
I think we need to keep our mics
I have
off,
two
only the one
devices.
talking. I think that's why you
Well,
get
well,
all.
my
got the
phone.
buzz anyway.
No, we're in the middle of fixing the buzz. They sent one piece, they're gonna send us the other pieces, because they didn't have them in stock, and I said, let's see if it's just one. So they sent the one portion that I've tried tonight, and obviously Linda's saying it's still buzzing, so we'll have to go again.
Thank you, John, for trying to tackle this.
Your equipment is clear, correct?
Yeah, we use the recordings for these times.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to get them better, but it's not like we host a lot of meetings, so we don't have a lot of chances to practice and troubleshoot these things. So we'll keep working on it. Thank you for your input.
Good, yeah, I did want to know that the fix is in and we're working on it. And I will work with John when it does come in to see if we can prove it all out.
These are all.
Yeah,
There's one for
they're all
you.
the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought it was odd they were all labeled the same. Here's the risk report for the library. There was a copy for everybody.
One for Tammy, two of them. Nope.
No. All right, so finances. That was last meeting, yes? Again, I showed up late for that one, so. Any others on the consent agenda?
These kinds of people don't know. This is what someone wants us.
Let's just hold it.
No? Okay.
All
Visitors, any visitors? There are no visitors in the building. Dan, you got anything online up there for us?
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, Dan's not speaking there either, so we'll pass that down to John.
This race,
There you go. Road report, Lance, is Mac coming tonight?
Mac will not be here this evening.
Okay, Mac will not be here, so the road report, is kicked to next time. Any others on the roads?
I
We
just
did
wondered-
submit on, for a pay down on 2 projects and we're waiting for payment. We're waiting for some money on those, but
And that's from the state?
yes.
Okay. All right, any others on the roads?
Yes, how far up, Heights Hill do we own?
I believe all the way to the house.
To the end?
I
Right to
believe
the
so.
end?
I believe so. You'd have to look at
Cause
the
it
town
looks
map.
like our road is like, I went up there this weekend and it's like, you get to the top and,
It's getting narrow,
yeah,
like because of brush or because of
like
just
the
like the road?
roadside is like, I don't know what's going on. I was like,
That's
well, maybe we
probably-
don't own way up here.
That may be
Like,
class
turn around.
4 up there, I'm not sure.
I don't believe so.
No,
No?
it's not class 4 or we don't own them,
It's
sorry.
class 3.
It's class
All the
3.
way up
To the farm,
to the end of the one.
shook them up.
Shooken up, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Dan Shook's place, yes.
Yeah, I would to be honest with you, Terry, I would imagine it's probably due to the fact that there's only one house up there and the amount of traffic it gets. I mean,
Still responsible.
oh, absolutely. And if it
I would
was,
hate to see 2 cars meeting.
one takes the ditch. Well, the only time there's 2 vehicles up there is in the deer season, so,
I think Brenda's,
sorry, that's,
That's the truth.
is the truth, yeah.
I mean,
Heights Hill.
Any others on roads?
anybody?
Not seeing any, we are cruising tonight, folks.
We did.
Hold on.
Did we get,
Say
oh, we don't know,
anybody
because Matt's
on
not
that.
here.
Max is not here.
I wondered about Belvedere.
Reimbursable hours would be paid.
Haven't got up there.
How about what?
If
When it
Belvedere's
first started.
repairs got done, if
That's
that
not being
got
paid.
fixed. I haven't been up there.
As it, we
Wasn't here for that one.
Oh, you
All
weren't
the
here yet, yeah.
project would be.
That was Smith's
Almost
first
got,
thing.
almost got off the road up there because it was so washed out.
Washed out.
Was it Belvedere or Waterville?
Yes,
Waterville.
Okay.
Waterville.
Yes.
this is to the best of my recollection, John.
I feel like they have me out at the grader, but I'm not 100%. I haven't either, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Reviewing the mail, we do have a letter here from, you guys can look at your convenience. It's not something that needs to be made public, because it's just an informational letter.
As a matter of fact, it should not go public because there is confidential information.
Correct. It is
Names that
just,
should not be.
it is just an informational letter for town officials. Is that correct? Good, yeah. Multi-town sharing zoning admin. I do not know who has the lead on this one. I'm going to assume Brenda. All right, go ahead.
I did attend the meeting for the select board over in Fletcher, and they have, as I mentioned previously, some very similar issues that we do. And one of them right now is they have been unable to hire a zoning person for the job over there. And one of the things I mentioned to them, I said if we could develop a full-time position with one other town, could we all share a zoning manager, zoning administrator? They were amenable to that because it might create one full-time job, 35 hours a week for 2 towns. So I'm going to look into that a little deeper because it's a model that's already being done, and I think there'll be a good format for it somewhere.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So you'll keep us on the loop on that one?
Yep.
Okay.
John, I slightly pass it.
Okay. I was just, so Lance and John have, some of the financial policies. One of the ones that we need to sign is the purchasing and, payment policy. It was put in place last year, and our oversight is that we never added John to it and took Gary Denton off. So it's just a formality, basically. It's not necessarily signing anything new. We had already had signed in, just changed. Excuse me. Is that signature on the back page, please? Lance, you have some other policies that you would like to discuss.
The financial policies, yes. The state of Vermont and Housing and Urban Development, because of our grant for Brigham, has required that we update our financial policies. Everyone should have a cover sheet.
Looks like this.
Yeah.
There we go. Terry, you got one of these?
Yeah, that one. This one, the one with the black band across the top. That generally explains what we're trying to accomplish. Some of them I'm just going to briefly touch on. Others I think that we can sign out tonight and have done with. I'll read them and pass it down through to have people sign if they agree with it. If nobody's opposed, I will just read it. And Tammy can make copies later for her records if she chooses. Is that all right?
It's fine with me. Any concerns or complaints on that?
Brenda, Terry?
I've reviewed these before.
He's just gonna read over the policies
Go
that
ahead.
were.
Okay. The first one is accounting, auditing, and financial report policy. The purpose of this accounting, auditing, and financial report policy is to establish and maintain high standards for accounting practices in the town of Bakersfield, thereby enabling voters, the select board, the treasurer, to make sound decisions in preparing and adopting the town budget and managing town finances. Accounting. The accounting practices of the town will conform to generally accepted accounting principles for local governments as established by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. The treasurer will establish and maintain a system of fund accounting and shall measure financial positions and results of operations using the modified accrual basis of accounting for government funds and the accrual basis of accounting for proprietary and fiduciary funds. Auditing. Annually, not less than every 5 years, the select board will cause the town financial statements to be audited by qualified, properly licensed, independent accounting firms. This audit will be conducted in addition to any audit performed by the town's elected auditors under 24 VSA 1681. Monthly and annual financial reporting. The treasurer will prepare monthly financial reports for the select board's management purposes. These will consist of budget reporting, showing revenues collected upon appropriations expended for the previous month with the variance of the budget amounts for each line item. Statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance showing the revenues and expenditure and the difference between the two, and the beginning fund balance for the period, the ending fund balance, and balance sheet showing town assets, less liabilities, and fund balance. The treasurer will also prepare an annual financial report. This report should include financial statements for each of the funds of the town, as well as appropriate additional disclosures as necessary for the complete understanding of the financial statements presented. In addition, the report should include a narrative discussion to explain how the town's current financial position and results of financial activities compared with those of the prior year and with the budgeted amounts. This report, together with the most recent independent auditor's report and any report prepared by the town's elected auditor under VSA 24 VSA 1682, will be reproduced in the town's annual report each year. The foregoing policy is hereby adopted by the select board and the treasurer of the town of Bakersfield, Vermont, this 24th day of October 2022, effective as this date until amended or repealed. This is what we do anyhow.
I agree.
This is formally adopting it in a format that the state and the federal government will accept.
Does anybody have any issues with adopting this policy as written? I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion that we adopt the model accounting, auditing, and financial report policy as set forward by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns for the town of Bakersfield as of today.
There a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote carries 5-0.
Balanced model budget policy. I'm gonna be done by the time
I was gonna say, if we only adopt 1 or 2 a day, it would probably be all right, you know, if you need a break.
Well,
Like you said, there was.
this one
You
also
said there was
requires
a
a
couple.
signature of the treasurer.
Okay.
There are some that we cannot decide tonight.
Right. Some that are.
But I would like to get as many as possible so that I can put forth to the state a cohesive financial policy so that we can start being paid grant monies that are due to the town. So bear with me as long as you can. I'll keep going as long as my voice holds out. None of them are more than 2 pages long, that we're gonna adopt tonight.
Yeah, it's just the jargon, if you get.
Yeah,
Go ahead and.
So
Yeah.
the board will sign that and Maria needs to sign, correct?
Maria needs to sign that one.
Okay.
Maria also needs to sign the next one. Most of them she does need to.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Balanced model budget policy. The purpose. The Select Board of the Town of Bakersfield believes that the sound financial management requires the annual town budget to be developed and administered in such a way that the annual revenue from property taxes and other sources equals annual expenses. Adoption and administration of balanced budgets will help maintain the stability of the town tax rate and reduce the need for borrowing. Budget development and approval. Each year, the Select Board will develop and present to the voters an operating budget that balances annual revenues and annual expenditures for all funds. The Select Board will avoid proposing annual budgets that overestimate revenues, defer maintenance, or replacement of essential capital assets, roll over short-term debt, or inadequately fund town obligations. Excuse me. Upon voter approval, the town budget, after the grand list has been lodged in the town office of the town clerk, the Select Board will set the tax rate necessary to raise the specific amounts voted in accordance with 17 VSA 2664. Budget administration. The Select Board administers the town budget through its authority to sign orders of payment for town funds. 24 VSA 1576, 1621, and 1622. To approve orders, the Select Board must, by a majority of the total number of members of the board, vote to authorize the treasurer to disperse the money. In order to carry out responsibilities efficiently, the Select Board must have a timely and accurate information about the status of the town's finances. To this end, the Select Board and the Treasurer have adopted a financial reporting policy under which the Treasurer prepares monthly financial reports for the Select Board's budget management purposes, as stated in the previous. The Select Board recognizes that unanticipated expenditures and revenue shortfalls caused by circumstances not foreseen at the time a budget is approved by the voters may require transfer of money between line items or even deficit spending. The Select Board will endeavor to administer the town budget to provide services in a manner consistent with the voters' expectations in light of actual circumstances that arise during the fiscal year, and will manage the budget to avoid, to the extent reasonably possible, deficit spending or the need to borrow money to pay current operating expenses. line item transfers. During the fiscal year, all transfers between budget line items will require a majority vote of the Select Board. The vote will state the line items that are subject to transfer, the reason for the transfer, and the reasons funds are available for transfer. Transfers will be made consistent with any applicable statute or legal obligations that may encumber or restrict the use of certain funds, including 19 VSA 312. At the close of the fiscal year, the treasurer will present a budget closing plan to the Select Board, making recommendations for transfer between line items and recommending the application of any budget surplus. Approval of the budget closing plan will require a majority vote of the Select Board. Any budget deficit will be addressed in accordance with 24 VSA 1523. The foregoing policy is hereby adopted by the Select Board and Treasurer of the Town of Bakersfield, Vermont, this 24th day of October 2022, and is effective as of this date until amended or repealed.
Again, practices we've already been following.
This is including borrowing from one line item,
I did notice that. That was a question we had in
including
previous
borrowing
years.
from one line item to cover a deficit in a second line item,
Yeah.
as long as it is approved by a majority vote.
Which was a question we've had multiple times.
Yes.
I think this clears it
This
up
is,
nicely.
this clears that up.
Yep. I would entertain a motion if everybody is there any discussion on this? If
Did
not,
everybody understand my mumbling?
Yes.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the, what's the title of that?
Balances.
Accept the balanced model budget policy as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
Okay, the third item. Capital program and budget policy. Now, from this point on, if you choose to say, I want to discuss that, just speak up, please. Or if you don't have any issues with it, we'll pass it on and we'll have to look at it again for a while. So, model capital program and budget policy. The purpose of this capital program and budget policy is to establish a capital improvement program, CIP, for the town of Bakersfield in accordance with 24 VSA 4430. The capital assets of the town and their condition are critical to the quality of services provided to the municipality. A CIP is a 5-year financial plan for the construction or acquisition of capital assets. It provides for the planning of future financial resources and financing of projects, including allocations from current operating budgets, funding of capital reserves, or the use of capital debt. A CIP also identifies the future financial resources required to operate and maintain capital assets once they have been acquired. Through a CIP, the town can plan future operating budget expenditures, debt, repayment requirements, and potential reserve funds needed in order to better manage its long-term financial position. Capital improvement plan and budget. The Select Board will adopt a 5-year CIP for the town of Bakersfield. This plan will include the town's plan of capital projects proposed to be undertaken during each of the following 5 years. the estimated costs of these projects, and the proposed method of financing. The Select Board will review and update the CIP annually. The CIP will be arranged to indicate order of priority of each capital project and to state for each project the following. 1. A decision of each...
That's me. Go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. 1. A decision of each proposed project and the estimated total cost of the project. 2. The proposed method of financing, indicating the amount proposed to be financed by direct budgetary appropriation or duly established reserve funds. The amount estimated to be received from the federal or state governments, the amount to be financed by impact fees, and the amount to be financed by the issuance of debt obligations, showing the proposed types of obligations together with a period of probable usefulness for which they are proposed to be issued. And 3, an estimate of the effect, if any, upon operating costs for the municipality. For example, we could incorporate a new grader, upgrades to the town garage. It would be 2 things that could be incorporated into the CIP. Each year, the Select Board will develop a capital budget that lists and describes the capital expenditures to be undertaken by the town during the coming fiscal year. As resources are available, the capital budget will be incorporated into the current year operating budget. Capital expenditures. For the purposes of the CIP, a capital expenditure is defined as any expenditure for any physical betterment or improvement, including furnishings, machinery, apparatus, or equipment for the physical betterment or improvement when first constructed or acquired. Any preliminary studies and studies relating to any physical betterment or improvement, land or rights in land, and any combination thereof costing more than $10,000, and any expenditure for infrastructure, i.e. roads, bridges, water and wastewater distribution, and collection systems, costing more than $50,000. These numbers are proposed numbers. They can be changed. So if you disagree with the $10,000 or the $50,000, let me know. It can be changed.
It's been consistent with what we've used in the past.
Yes, that's why I chose those numbers. And if, as I said, I'm not offended if anybody wants any other numbers in there. Reserve funds. In conjunction with the town's debt management policy, the Select Board will annually propose funding of reserve funds created in accordance with 24 VSA 2804 to accumulate resources to pay for any of the capital expenditures included in the CIP. The use of such reserve funds should minimize large fluctuations in the tax rate and will reduce the need for incurring additional debt. Other capital improvements may be funded or bond issued through the operating budget. Priority criteria, capital projects and/or capital assets will receive a higher priority if they meet some or most of the following criteria. 1. The project or asset meets policy goal or fulfills the strategic objective of the Select Board. 2. The project or asset requires under a state or federal mandate, law, or regulation. 3. The project or asset will mitigate or eliminate a known safety hazard. 4. The project or asset will maintain and improve the delivery of public services to the majority of the population. 5. The project or asset will improve the quality of existing infrastructure. 6. The state or federal grant funds are available to assist in funding for the project. The foregoing policy is hereby adopted by the Select Board of the Town of Bakersfield, yada yada, 24th day of October, effective until amended or repealed.
So I did have just one question, and that is, if this is adopted, when is the 5-year plan required?
Not this year.
Not this year. Okay. I was just,
Not this
Yeah.
year, it's too late. Obviously, it's too late in the year. It would be something that we could work on in the coming year.
as the beginning with the new, or
It's-
with the,
Probably.
whatever the select board looks
Yeah.
like after March.
Well, all it is basically is saying that the town should prioritize its major expenditures and plan for them ahead, and write it down.
Okay. I was just curious if we were shorting ourselves for
No.
a deadline that needed to be,
No.
I know that question was brought up one other time about a plan and,
If it involved a grant, which this one does not, or an immediate expenditure, yes, but it does not.
and what is the repercussions, I guess would be the correct term, for, 5 years down the road, if none of us are on the board and the new board isn't following the policy? I was trying to listen for that, but.
No, right here.
Okay.
The foregoing policy is hereby adopted by the Select Board of the Town of Bakersfield, Vermont, this 24th day of October in the year of 2022, and is effective
Okay,
as of this date until amended or repealed.
okay,
They would either have to amend it or repeal it.
okay. So they can't just not follow it?
Right.
Okay.
They can look at this and say, this is bullshit. I want to repeal it.
Okay.
And if they have a majority vote,
As long as they
It's
follow,
gone.
as long as they follow the right, sometimes I feel like there's policies and stuff that are put in place and plans that are put in place and then the
Yep.
next crew comes in and it's like.
The
it's-
next
It's forgotten about. I
crew
won't say.
is going to have to be made aware of these. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as it used to be when I started out 15 years ago. The state and federal governments are requiring that we have these policies in place.
CYA.
Yes.
Yep. If anybody doesn't know that acronym, I can give it to you. Alright, is there any other discussion on, what is this one, sorry? Model capital program and budget policy.
Now, if, as an aside, I have more information on each of these, if you want to, and I'm more than willing to share the link where you can get it. You've all had it before. Such things get buried and forgotten. I understand, I've certainly done it myself. But there is a link that was once in your grubby little paws where you had access to this, and I can resend it to anyone who is interested, or I can print off copies of this.
Just to clarify, you're saying if we wanted to table this one until a vote at a later date, you can get us more information if needed?
There's more information right
I
here.
know, I'm just clarifying what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any other discussions?
I'd make a motion that we accept that policy as written and described by Lance. What's the name of it, Lance?
This is the capital program and budget policy.
Yep, so named.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? John, your mic's not on?
Aye.
There we go. Vote passes 5-0. How many more you got? Couple, okay.
I told you it would take a half hour, 45 minutes. How long have I done?
45 minutes.
I wish. Do we?
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Everybody who has their mics on, it's a wonderful idea, but you're picking up Lance across 3 different mics, which makes it muddled. Can you turn off the mics if you're not talking?
Absolutely, that was what we said at the beginning.
Can you hear it, John?
I got the earphone and I'm listening to the meeting, and what's happening is every mic is picking up Lance, so it makes him sound dull, and then it echoes out.
I am dull.
Well, that's a different problem.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Yes.
Can we stipulate to these and sign them for our own purposes rather than Lance going through each and every word and letter?
Can we what?
Stipulate to them that they are indeed accurate and they are what they are and what we're signing, we are responsible for.
To that end, Brenda, I would certainly point out at least 2, possibly 3, which should be tabled for discussion later,
Okay.
which would reduce the number. I will go on to the next thing, Josh, if you have something else, and give me a minute. And
I would love to, but the only other thing on here.
well, you're gonna have to give me a minute.
That's fine, that's fine. If you're just gonna do that, maybe we'll shut the mics right off and, we'll sign these and we will come back once Lance has sorted them out and knows what's coming next.
Also, Mr. Chairman, are these gonna be in a place where we could look at them in depth rather than listening?
They're in the
Lance's
front,
dulcet tones?
they're in the front office, the town file cabinet, and there is a file for policies. And we can
Your
certainly,
mic is off.
oh, sorry. They are in the front office in the file cabinet marked town under policies. They're in alphabetical order. They're not there yet, but once we sign them and adopt them, they will be. I can spend a little bit of time later and make sure that you all have copies of these. If it won't take long to do that, if that's what you want.
You also said you were gonna make copies available for Tammy to attach to the minutes, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And should they be on the town website? These
Yes,
policies?
absolutely. If we adopt them tonight, they need to be on the
Town
website.
website, okay.
Yes. All right, here, what I'm going to do, that one, we
Did the
should sign.
library have
This one, we
is
should
there
sign.
something they did that they paid to have done, this risk management,
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's the one that they did when they found like the mold.
Oh,
And
this is the
I
report
believe
of it?
that's the,
No, this is the overall town report.
Or no
All of
more.
our deficiencies.
Yeah, it's all three.
Not just the library, the garage,
Oh, it's the one throughout the whole
the
town,
garage, the town
Okay.
hall.
all right.
Yeah, there's different sections. You start with the library. As for Brenda's point, I'd like to see what we're signing, or at least understand what we're signing, because I know that the town of leagues and cities, and whatever, they normally give their suggestions. And I'd like to just make sure that it would meet what we're trying to accomplish.
You mean VLCT gives suggestions?
Right, when you talk to VLCT, they literally, and most of the stuff, they say, hey, this is just a framework. You can accept it as it is, or you can massage it to get it to
This
fit.
library is a mess.
And that's a key part, like,
Looks like somebody should do some housekeeping.
I don't know what these documents actually are. I'll speak for myself.
Which one?
So Lance reading them or providing them so we could read them for another meeting is good for me.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
I don't disagree that you should be thoroughly aware of them, especially if we're signing them.
Yeah.
All right, I've identified 3 that I think should be tabled for further discussion. One is a policy for investment policy.
Is that for employees, Lance? Is that for?
No, this is the town investing assets.
Oh, investment, I'm sorry, I thought you
Yeah,
said.
investment policy, I'm sorry. We need further discussion on that one. Okay, there are some questions that I have. There are guidelines. I don't think we're quite ready for that one tonight. So if you'll trust my judgment, we'll table that one.
Well, do you want to make 5 copies so everybody has one to read?
Yes, we can, as I said, I will take time to make policies,
Yep.
copies of these policies,
For homework.
for homework, and I will bundle them all together. Another one, which is a simple one, really, but we're not ready for yet, but something we should consider, is a fund balance reserve. And it's simply extra money set aside for emergencies. A damn truck breaks down, excuse my language, where are we gonna go? The only thing we can do is go to the bank. If we had an accident, smash a truck, especially the older one, we can't replace it for what the insurance is gonna pay us. And we're in debt. And a reserve policy, depending on how deep you want to go into it, if you want to reserve enough money, set aside enough money to replace a truck, that's a sizable investment.
Well, don't we do that now?
$250,000, huh?
Don't we have a truck fund now?
We do, but it wouldn't cover us in the event of losing a truck catastrophically.
So the truck fund we have now is strictly for the payments of the trucks that we owe on.
Correct.
And we have a new equipment line,
Yes.
which we put, say 10 or 15 into each year.
Right.
But that ideally is for equipment, whereas, and I know you're thinking a truck is equipment, which it is, but ideally, if something, that's for more like a grader, a backhoe, excavator, something like those lines, more so than a truck. The truck would be its own separate item.
The third one, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay. The third one is a debt management policy, which goes into debt ratios, how far in debt should we go on a per capita basis, and et cetera, et cetera. We're not ready for that. We need to know investment, the balance reserve policy, and debt management policy all should be discussed together. And I don't think we're ready for that tonight. We might be ready for this after we do our budgetary meetings,
Right.
but certainly not before. So I can put these aside, I believe, and table them for later discussion, which leaves cash receipts, petty cash, and return check policy.
Does Kathy have a policy on those that she follows now?
We don't have any written policies for any of this. That's the problem.
Okay.
The cash receipts, petty cash, and return check policy are pretty straightforward. The only thing is preparing and depositing funds, the only monetary amounts mentioned. Otherwise, it's just common sense, straightforward. Funds collected by authorized persons totaling $500 or more must be deposited with the treasurer no later than the following business day. Funds collected totaling less than 500, and this is a number I inserted. So if you want to change that, please speak up. Must be deposited, the less than 500 must be deposited with the treasurer no later than the first business day of the following week.
What's this for?
This is the cash receipts, petty cash, and return check policy.
For example, John, the stickers for the ATVs, you know,
Yeah.
if you got 2 of them, you wouldn't have to make a deposit, but if you end up with, 50 of them coming in and you're sitting on that sum of cash, that should be deposited once it gets to a sum of over $500, if I'm understanding that correctly.
Okay.
The other one I think we can sign tonight, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a model credit card policy. Credit card holders and limits, credit card use, security, documentation.
And again, that's more for Kathy than us, as she uses the credit card for
Yep,
office expenses.
it's just very common sense, very straightforward. The other one that we could sign is fraud prevention policy. There are 4 that I think we can sign and get away with. And there
Just-
again,
Just to interrupt you real quick, Lance,
Yeah.
has Kathy read these also?
she's available, she's had them available to her.
And
I
has
do
she-
not, I cannot answer for that.
Do any of them require her signature?
No, they require the treasurer's signature. Yes. 1, 2, fraud prevention requires just the select board.
Do we feel that possibly the town clerk should also sign those so that they are aware of the, say, credit card and petty cash, as they're more likely to deal with that than we are as a board,
Absolutely.
and the treasurer may not always be here when petty cash comes in. So I feel like that should also be somebody who needs to sign these and understand them as well. That was the only thing I had. Anybody have anything else other than just wanting to hear them? Muted my mic before I said that.
The other one that shouldn't be, I feel that I almost should read this one. It's 2 pages. And my voice is about shot. We could table that one. It's trustee of public funds investment policy.
Is that one that could be tabled until a later date, as I don't see the
I
trustees?
would like to do this one sooner rather than later, but it doesn't necessarily have to be done tonight, Josh.
Okay.
I feel that this one should be read and should be discussed. I mean, primary, the trustee of public funds are allowed to invest money. You know, I've been a trustee of public funds for close to 25 years or whatever. And, the objects are safety, liquidity, yield, and local investment. But some of the things stated in here, trying to find it.
It sounds like a reader,
Yeah, we need to read it.
like separately.
Yeah. So let's table this one to the next meeting. And I'll read it then. Because honestly, my voice is about to give out.
I'm not upset.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Thank you for being patient.
I do feel.
This is something that we do need to get through, and
Yes.
I have honestly dreaded it because
I would say if we prioritize 2 of those, which I think would be the credit card policy and the petty cash policy, as those are ones that are probably dealt with almost, I'd say definitely weekly, if not almost daily, those policies should be updated. The only problem I see on that is you would have to add a line for our town clerk who signed. Yeah, that's what I did.
So these are all financial policies, correct?
Yes, that's the way it looks. They're all,
Right. What about, and we talked about this a little bit last meeting, reimbursement of funds?
that is not covered in any of these. But I tell you right now, don't be digging for them. I've read them all extensively. Reimbursement for, it talks about early requests. It doesn't talk, well, yeah, it does. You request funds, you request permission to expend funds prior to.
Right.
I mean, that part is covered.
Is that in one of these policies, like spelled out?
It is in the original. He would ask.
We're tabling some of this anyhow, but
No, that's a checklist. And that is something we don't do this with.
That's just how it's adopted.
I just printed that voter off tonight.
Well, if you're making them all available for John to read, then you'll be able to locate that by the next meeting, I feel, rather than have you dig through them all right now.
right. And if there's not one, then we should talk to the league and see if they have one and or create one on our own.
You're looking for it.
I printed it out. There's the expenditure, the purchasing expense policy.
Terry might have it down here.
What are you looking
Or-
for?
It's the, no, actually Tammy's got it. It's the one we signed tonight.
You just, okay, you got it, this one. Your signature page is right.
Josh? Got connected, right? You got a little yellow icon that says I'm not.
It'll take a second.
It's one of those, John.
Oh, where am I looking? Okay, never mind. I don't know.
Got it? Been lost again.
Let's put it over here where it's not.
Come
Come
on.
out against that raccoon. Fraud prevention,
Nope. Credit card and petty cash.
cash receipts, where'd the credit card go? There we go. Where are you?
I just think by having her sign those,
No,
it
that's
covers
fine.
her
That's-
and
That's
us.
why we're discussing it, I mean. Financial matters, purchasing,
Transfers.
where are you? Petty cash right there. Yeah, it's got
13 years old.
windows.
Said his word processor's 13 years old.
It's a little slow.
It's our generation,
Yeah.
Josh, we
It-
don't
it-
like change.
That explains why when I said Google Docs, you all looked at me like I was growing up. Who got what?
We're frugal.
What's
Yeah.
a doc? Google Docs is free.
What?
Microsoft Word costs more than Google Docs ever did.
Version.
Yeah. 2010. Wasn't that right before X?
So I don't understand why we're getting this report so late.
Well, I think we've had that for a while.
Oh, so is it just out here for no reason? So
That's the
we-
one.
They've
That-
made all
I almost
this.
feel like this one's a couple years old.
No, it's the one, remember they came out? and the-
Visit
It was
date.
this
Like
spring.
February, yeah.
Yeah.
And she told us that our walkway out here was 2 inches too narrow.
And the upstairs we can't use.
Oh,
and all that
yeah, I
jazz.
remember that.
Yeah, don't jump out the window because
But
it's
I
really low.
think the reason it's come back is that the library didn't think they got the report.
Oh,
Remember,
okay.
they kept saying they didn't get the report, but
Oh.
the library report is in that, so we printed it off so the library could see that they are indeed in that.
I remember that
Which is why it
communications
was
with us.
rectified.
So
I
was
wonder how many
the,
things they rectified at the town garage.
were any of these sent to
Library.
the library? My guess would be the rectified just as many as we did up here, which would be 0.
Cheers.
More.
Get a little bit cheers here.
Trying to make it look good, Jack.
Well, you know, you really good at it.
Those acrylics.
They're mine.
They're nice. Thank you. You do them yourself?
No.
There.
Airbrush.
Go to King.
That work?
No, You already got treasurer in there, really, for the town.
So they do a
Clerk.
good job.
You get fussy
No,
now.
they're just shellac to keep them.
Very nice.
Your granddaughter goes.
No,
Save that.
that girl. Gonna show you my granddaughter's deer that she got.
Oh, yeah?
Did they find it?
Oh, no,
Oh.
no.
Oh,
The one I
that's the
showed
other
you
one,
the
yeah.
other night.
I am on mute, so. It's only John on there anyway. John, are you getting any fuzz?
A
Any
buzz?
squealing?
I got a white hum going on.
How about now?
Who's
What the heck is that?
Is that you, John?
Was that you?
Yeah, I was,
Is that
Yeah, that's bad, I'm just listening to it.
I just like grabbed hold of the microphone and
I
rubbed
missed it, I missed your hand there, that's pretty good. So I guess this is what the one you're talking about.
She's sitting over there going, what the hell are they doing?
I just want
You
to go
get paid
home.
by the hour or by the?
Okay.
She's not listening.
She says they can't pay her enough to keep putting up with this.
I don't-
Tammy, what you do need?
You gotta hit the button that says print. Oh,
Not bad at all.
Did once.
okay.
It's a deer that my nephew's bought for
Jimmy
her
got very-
birthday, and she can actually shoot
Move it this way, flip.
So just to,
I got one.
Be clear, the one document I think you-
My son-in-law, she's got.
considering
I just printed from here a minute ago.
that it covers it,
I'm
is
like,
the
oh
one
my
purchasing and
God.
payment policy. But the problem is, this document's talking about contracts and such. Procurement process.
It's
and
just
it
on
says-
the other side of the wall,
That
so
is
there's
the
no.
deer my
I'm sorry,
grandson
what?
Aiden got.
Oh, wow.
Can you mute that comment so
You
that?
got one?
Because I'm getting that
Yeah,
guy.
he showed me.
Mute the mic.
Well,
So the one that you brought up, I'm assuming is this one, because it's the only one that talks about payment,
Yeah.
purchasing. But this is making everyone a purchasing authority that enables everyone in here to spend up to $500.
I don't know.
But when it was
With
read,
prior approval.
Nothing was open to be able to weigh it.
all right.
it's no person.
So there's one last night,
Purchasing
but I did
agent
hear.
may make purchases without prior approval.
Then they sent me this cracking up.
The
Yeah.
board can make purchases without prior
Well, he's trying to
approval up to 500?
According to this, and when it was read, I missed this portion. It says, incidental purchases, employees who have been designated to act as a purchasing agent may make purchases up to $500 without prior approval.
Employees.
Employees, provided those purchases are limited to the amount of the budget authorized by the town. But under employees, you have the treasurer, the town clerk, the zoning administrator, the road commissioner, the road foreman, the select board chair, vice chair, board. So almost everybody.
In our town.
John, just a point, go to the last page.
Okay?
That's first page.
No, that was the first page. Okay, I'm at the last page.
Whose names are there?
You mean who signed it?
Yeah.
All of us. No, I said I
Yeah,
missed the word without.
Oh, okay.
The concern is that we don't need prior approval, and everybody can spend $500. And then if you were spending,
Well,
That's an
I told
incidental
them we
purchase.
would do that.
well, that's an incidental purchase. Then the employees who are designated to act as purchasing agents, again, that whole list of people, may make purchases with a value between $501 and $1,500 only with prior approval.
Okay.
So I think we need to modify the without prior approval for up to $500
And
I
is that per incident?
per incident.
So you could do $500 a week?
You can do $500 5 times in a day.
So, on the flip side of that is that the warrants do have to be signed. And yes, you may go spend $500, but that doesn't necessarily say that the board is going to sign that warrant that pays you.
I'm not disputing, that's why I was saying we need something
No, I
that's a
understand what
little
you're saying.
deeper in writing than this.
Yep. Well, I think,
I misheard him, and I thought it was with prior approval, and I think he even thought it, but it says without.
incidental purchasing agents. Now, you have to be designated to act as a purchasing agent according to this.
But look above, they're all the designated purchasing agents.
Okay, I got that one to print. I had to be right beside the damn thing. What was the other one, Josh?
And
Credit card.
I'm actually we're gonna have you amend this one.
This was petty cash.
Under-
Hang on.
Okay.
Let me get the right one with the right one. And let me rip up the wrong one so we don't mix it up. Fraud prevention, we were gonna sign that one.
And I think, John, the reason that one went through is because that was the first one.
Yep.
That we signed, because we were adding your name as a purchasing agent. It had already been adopted in February with those numbers. The only thing we did different is we added your name to the list. That's why it
I get
wasn't,
it.
that's why it wasn't read. It's not that you missed anything. We didn't read that one because we were just adding your name.
I understand, I'm just saying that we may want to consider
Petty
amending
cash is
that.
the one I'm looking for.
Correct. No, you just did petty cash. You're looking for credit card
Credit card.
policy.
Thank you.
And I think we can amend this one
Maybe
fairly.
that's a good sign as to why we should be reading on peach.
Turn your mic on?
Maybe that's the sign.
That one was one we signed
Your mic's not on.
last February, Terry. And we did read it, and front to back when we
When we
Oh, I
wrote
thought it
that.
was the one we did tonight.
No,
No,
the only thing
no.
we did to it tonight was on this page right here, where it
There's-
said select board member. We took Gary Denton out and
Oh.
put John West in.
I see.
That was the only thing we did with this one. This one was a policy that was
I can
already
hear
in
the
place.
Yeah, I'm trying to kill the meeting.
So
My
we
head's
can
dead.
adjust this one, amend this one, if we so choose. Sorry, Lance, that's gonna give you a little extra work.
What?
We're going to amend this one,
Which one?
the first one, purchasing payment policy.
How so? I have it, but I'm not in that document right now.
No,
Would
that's
you
fine.
please just write down what you're going to amend?
We can.
And I
We can.
will change it as soon as I'm done with this one.
Yep, no, that's fine. I just, so incidental purchases. As John read, employees who have been designated to act as purchasing agents may make purchases up to $500 without prior approval. John is stating that he would like that number to be lower. Do you have a number in mind, John?
100, 250,
Okay.
whatever's more preferable or desirable by the board.
The only issue I could see is if Mac, as the road foreman, had to make a purchase before he could get prior approval as the road commissioner.
That is why we did this. That is why we did set that at 500, so that he would be able to buy parts for his equipment as needed. If you set it too low, he's gonna have to wait till we get everybody together to get approval, prior approval. And there are instances where he needs to do that. He doesn't have accounts with everybody.
So we could make it that we change who's allowed to spend up to that amount.
That was the suggestion I was just gonna make.
Perfect. I'm
As-
just explaining why.
Yep, no, that works.
Because
As,
like
I don't-
Kathy, sometimes giving, like if she has to do postage prior to,
yep, so if she could remain on the list.
Your zoning person should also have that, because quite often if I'm doing registered postage, that gets expensive.
Okay.
It's all reimbursed because somebody else is paying for it, but it's gotta be paid for upfront.
Could we not do that through Kathy though? The least amount of people, the better.
That
That's
really
the reality.
obligates her to have to go to the post
Well-
office and fill out
Honestly, my name doesn't need to
many
be on there.
sheets.
That's what I'm saying, there's a
I
lot.
don't think any of the select board need to be on there.
No.
as we are the people that would
Well,
be.
edit it as you see fit, and I will make the changes in a minute, but
No, that's fine. I don't see any reason for
I
the
would like to,
select, the select board chair.
I would like to see it just be Kathy and Mac. And we can always purchase postage and have it available.
It's,
Prior to.
registered letters don't go that way. You have to fill them out with the post office and each
Oh,
one's
you mean to
priced
do
individually.
the
To do any
ones where they gotta
notification?
sign?
Yeah, to do any notifications.
Mhm.
That's over $500.
No,
No, it's less than $500.
oops.
Can we use the town credit card for that?
you could do it for less for the zoning, if that's all they do it for. Doesn't have to be the same.
Would Maria need to be on there, Maria DeRosa? Would the treasurer need to make purchases without prior approval?
Checks, when she has to purchase checks, when she has to purchase
Or does she
tax.
do that, or does she do that through Kathy?
I think she orders them.
Okay.
But we know when we're running low on checks. It isn't like we're gonna run out and immediately need them unless we not
She
take
could
attention.
get prior approval.
Well, that's a
for
bank.
that.
Should be able to get prior
That's
approval.
deducted from your account at the bank anyhow. You can be,
I think,
can be.
Well, we can always
Maria could
change it
get
if we
prior
find down the
approval first,
road
though.
it needs to be.
yes.
Let's try it
I
this
know, but
way.
if she, I guess, I mean, might have to wait 2 weeks to get that prior approval. Sometimes she's like, oh, you know, or W-2 forms, or,
We pay for W-2 forms?
no, but I'm thinking, yeah, there are different times that she'll say, oh my gosh, we're low on this, we need to get this.
But she can go to Kathy, who has the ability to get it.
Right.
She doesn't have to do it herself. She can just say, hey Kathy, we're low on checks, can you, here's the thing, can you fill it out, since she has the capability.
Yes.
And they would be able to tell you more.
So I'm gonna strike her from the list now, and if it doesn't work, we can add it back.
This goes with your next
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Are you gonna sign that tonight, or is that? something
Lance
you're
is
gonna
going to
talk
edit
about
it just as soon as
in
we
next-
get.
next meeting?
They're the ones who signed it. They just sent me the whole staff.
Oh, these are the old ones.
Yeah, they just have to go to,
They go with Josh.
No,
no, they go to Tammy.
Tammy, please. So,
Well, we could approve it as first hearing and then approve it as final at the next meeting.
okay. So the names I have on here as people who are designated to act as purchasing agents for the town are the town clerk, zoning admin, road commissioner, and road foreman. Now, granted, at this time, the foreman and the commissioner are the same person. We have 3 people that are designated to act as purchasing agents.
I would probably just not have I would probably have the road commissioner only, because doesn't the foreman report into the commissioner?
That would
Foreman and commissioner are the same person.
At this moment, but let's just pretend all of a sudden we have. people
Foreman would
in
report
positions.
to the commissioner, yes.
So then I would just leave
But-
it at the commissioner and remove the,
But if your road commissioner isn't a full-time position, your road foreman would be the person making the
You're gonna
purchasing.
Turn a run down to the store and get a part into a 2-day thing because of that.
I then remove.
When everybody's
just
waiting for the roads to be plowed.
I'm just trying to get it to 2 or 3 names.
It is 3 names right now.
Okay.
As the road foreman and road commissioner are the same, it's 3 names right now. If the road commissioner and road foreman were 2 separate people, I still believe that both should have the ability to, what are you looking for? Both should have the ability to make purchases, as if the foreman is on the job and needs something, they should be able to go and get it. But if they need something, but they're still in the process of working, they could send the road commissioner to get it. Both people, I feel, need purchasing power to be just, I'd hate for it to, put us behind on something or not be able to get something repaired because of missing
There we go.
somebody on the road side's name, you know what I mean?
I totally get it, I totally get it.
Yeah,
So those are the three people at this time
those
with this
are the people we
amendment.
need to keep running. Who are they?
So you would take the treasurer off. Sorry, you can start at the bottom, highlight all the select board. We're all off.
Matt?
Start over here. Oh, you gotta start here and then go up. There you go.
I use a mouse at home.
It's so much easier.
And delete. And then
Even though I have the
treasurer.
treasurer,
Yep.
so there's 4.
That's 3 names though.
True. For now, it could be 4 names.
Right, that was the discussion we just had about
Well, I was,
the road commissioner and road foreman being not only interchangeable as one person, but also
Okay.
should be interchangeable of being
what
able to.
else was changed?
Nothing. What we did is we reduced the number of people instead of changing the amount.
Okay, so that's all that's changed so far?
Correct.
So on the, just as this is connected, on the model credit card policy,
Yep,
okay? In the spot where it says authorized user, I said see purchase payment policy,
perfect.
okay?
That allows Kathy, Mac, and Brenda to sign off on the credit card.
Okay,
And as Brenda is also the second name on the treasurer's books also, correct?
Yeah, I'm
If I remember.
signing all the warrants tomorrow.
so you are,
That one needs to be printed so we can sign again.
okay.
Sorry.
Or do we
No,
just,
no,
print- since
no,
we
no.
just signed it, just print the first couple
I just ripped
pages?
it in half.
Oh, wow,
Fine, do that way.
okay.
Brett,
Don't question my authority.
I'm not.
No, it was just, I don't like having multiple copies of.
No, that's
things.
why I'm ripping
Yeah.
mine up here.
Yep, things start getting squirrely.
Brent one-sided, Brent. Now, these are the 3 policies that we've been discussing.
Yep.
Fraud prevention, model credit card policy, the cash receipts, petty cash, and return check policy.
Do you wanna give a minute for them to be cycled and read?
Certainly. Send them 2 different directions. Let me just move this file here so they don't get mixed. I've read them multiple times and I've got something
Oh, you're good, you're
hopefully printing down there.
As I've said, oh, he's.
That is so true. Many times I've had to read.
There you go.
I think this printer hates me.
It's pretty fussy.
What's its name?
Cecil.
What do we ever use the credit card for?
Online purchases, mostly I would imagine.
Right, but like, what are they purchasing normally?
Purchased flags this year, I think, with it.
Yeah. we
Flags,
used it for
office
flags.
supplies, paper.
And Mac and the guys use it
Yeah,
to purchase some things if they have to use credit card.
I know, like, if you don't have an account set up at like Ace or Sticks and stuff, it's just as easy to take the town credit card and go to Sticks and stuff. When we bought that bundle of plywood, that's, you know, that would've been one of the items I think they would've used it for, but for the most part, I think it's online purchasing.
Beaver traps.
So is our limit quite high on it?
How do you reset that thing?
I could not tell you what the limit is on the credit card. It would probably be in our credit card statement.
How do you
Well, because it says that we,
Good
I
jam.
haven't seen that one yet.
right, we'll see.
Okay, what is the number?
It doesn't give one. It says it gets authorized and then,
Okay. I think most businesses are like 15,000 though.
That printer is gonna have an accident.
So, there's a lot of authorized people.
What? For what?
Cash receipt, petty cash, and return check policy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the credit card, this is just petty,
No,
petty
it's
cash.
just, yeah, receiving cash, but it almost seems like anybody that has
These are
anything to
the,
do with the town.
these
could
are
collect
the,
money.
yeah, these are the people that were recommended by the VLCT. If you wanna change it, I don't have
I
a
could-
problem with that
I
in the
don't think
least.
there's anybody on there that I could take off, it's just.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
I agree.
Who's listed on there?
Ron,
Treasurer,
you
Everyone's
can't,
saying-
don't think you're getting hands on.
actually she is. Treasurer, assistant treasurer, town clerk, assistant town clerk,
That's the fraud.
collector of delinquent taxes, select board members, road
That's
commissioner.
to collect petty cash, I mean, obviously, if you're out the window.
Yeah, it's everybody.
You can't limit that one.
Cemetery commission, constable, fire warden, service
this is to
officer,
take, like,
trustee of public
any
funds,
payment.
water commissioner, zoning administrator, library trustee, and
Anyone who
library.
handles cash.
Yeah,
The guy
like
outside
if somebody
said good
comes to
morning.
do a registration.
okay with this one?
Yeah, but we didn't agree to it, so I didn't think I was supposed to sign it.
I
before we-
think
Right.
if you agree to it,
Recording.
go ahead and sign it.
Okay, I
That's-
didn't know if we were gonna put a motion to it.
Plan.
Right?
No, it's
Terry, did you?
separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I would read it, John. I think that's the best way to do it. If you approve, here's the next one.
Dude, down by, on the other end of town, it looks like they're putting up a great big,
Yep.
what is that?
Correct.
Oh, just a barn.
Floors all poured.
I see that.
I will admit to getting a little behind. They had it Berlin in time.
Yeah, I had talked to you about my mother's darling neighbor down there. Not a new one, a different one. Who's building something on her property line.
30 feet,
Huh?
30 feet, is it 25 within the village?
Within the village, it's like one,
Yeah,
your eaves can drip on your neighbor's
They're-
property,
they are considered, I think,
high density.
what's that yeah, high density, so he's gotta be 10. But he's building it on the,
Terry, you,
on the property line. But he doesn't even own the damn land.
Whose
Here.
land is it?
that one,
It's, Boone Burleson owns it.
you need this one. What going by?
The old Maynard house. The one next to my mom's,
Oh.
where she owns that daycare.
Yeah.
Fax copy? Fax? Really? What decade we living in, boys and girls?
Hey, we still have a fax machine, it's gotta be in there.
Yep.
No one else has one, but
Instead of
congratulations.
faxes.
The school's got one.
Yeah, they all, the big things, the big printers all have faxes still.
Yeah,
That's a scanner.
it's a scanner that you
Also,
email.
email, you send directly.
Yeah, I know.
You can do faxing too on them.
Because fax is more secure than an email. Lots of places you have to fax, they won't accept an email because it's not secure enough.
New purchasing policy, updated. You got the wrong date on here. And you got it in here twice. How the hell did you manage that?
What?
Scooter, what did you do here?
What do
What's
you mean,
that?
what I do?
I'll check.
Because that was what it's supposed to,
And credit card.
I'm gonna kill you.
Goddamn computers! I don't know what you
Okay.
did.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, you know what happened, Jack?
No, I have no clue.
When I deleted a bunch of names, it moved that up from the last.
Oh, okay. So I think we can sign it with that on there. It's no
Just a
big deal.
minute, I just,
With the wrong
Just delete
date?
that whole thing.
no, I don't want to delete it, it goes with it goes with the signature page. Right there, see?
Hey, are you gonna print that again?
No, don't put it. You just like ripping them.
That one wouldn't have worked anyway, because the signature page was wrong and the shredded.
Okay.
It's gonna go to,
Stop.
This is him assigning you, or?
so what we've been
Do
doing,
you want me to go
Lance,
see for printed plans?
Lance, what we've been doing is if you read it and approve it, put your John Hancock on it. Since you've read all of them
I've
and
read them,
proposed
so
them,
done
I
many
assumed
times
that
now.
we were.
Did you fix it and tell it to print Lance?
You realize you signed here.
Yes, I didn't sign that one yet. How many policies are we supposed to put in place there?
78. We're on number 4.
I think that's 6.
Hike.
Yeah. No, and renewal of 1, so that's 7. You have another one?
No, I'm waiting for it to come down.
Oh.
I've done credit card and fraud. I don't know what's left.
I think just the
I just printed it last
one
time.
that Terry's got, I believe is the last one.
The whole damn thing.
I signed it.
Okay, I think Terry's the only one left on that
There.
side then. You don't want me to read that over again? This one's
Oh,
good,
this is the
so
one
this
that
one needs to
updated the names
go.
on?
Tammy,
My name on it?
this
Yes.
one, yeah, you just signed it,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
John Hancock.
Did
You
you-
actually signed it, John Hancock.
Who signed this?
Tammy, this one needs to go to the town clerk
It
and,
says one hand on.
the town clerk and the treasurer, please, and thank you. This one is the petty cash, which I was reading and I signed. This one, Lance.
Save,
This is the one John needs, this is also the one that you need to sign.
close.
This is the updated name list.
Excellent. But that guy said I went down on the bottom, who does that?
Tammy,
Yes.
Okay.
those new policies need to be sent to Patrick Sheld.
Patrick who?
Sheld.
Patrick Sheld.
Like, you
And
know.
you're giving me an address?
No, I've given it to you before. That's the one where, with the one that was saying the policies weren't right, remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
I
was
would
just an
imagine.
email. Should I just email them to him?
What you do is you put them in the copier out there and you push scan and it'll scan them and send them in an email to him if you put his email in the copier.
Joshua.
I know, it's
Wherever you
technology,
are,
it's a crazy thing.
I can also scan them onto my computer and have it be a PDF.
Email it to yourself, then you can email it to
Then you
him.
don't have to multiple step it.
And then you get a copy for yourself.
Then I
Can I-
get it on my computer.
No, what I'm
Then
saying
I
is,
can use from
if
my
you scan it
computer,
from
the
there-
PDF can go onto the website.
right, but if you scan it from there, it'll scan to your computer and then you can just
No, it
forward the
doesn't-
email.
It doesn't scan to my computer from there.
So, you know, if you put it in an email, put your email address in there and hit scan.
No, but if I do a Genius scan, I've got it like perfectly PDF on my
I can
computer
just
immediately.
close this now.
I hope so. Well, we need to make sure we have the right number and which ones we've passed,
Okay, so,
right?
I'm
Did
to
you pass the
understand,
time postpone?
Okay, let me
this does not have Joshua on here.
rename them.
Sign.
How's that?
Which
Or
one's that?
Lance.
Huh?
Which one is that one?
For fraud prevention.
The fraud?
Yeah, that one didn't come this
Did you
way.
hand it to me?
No, I handed it to you.
Oh, I thought it came from him.
And this one only has Joshua and
Well,
John
for
West.
God's sakes.
No, there was one that Josh's name was on the bottom, And
Yeah.
there was a separate page for the rest of the signatures.
That wasn't,
Was there another one?
That one's thick.
Yeah, this is a big one. No,
I signed that one.
yes, you did. Just you and John
Oh,
left.
Josh, you haven't signed this one.
Yes, are you sure? Check the other page, very bottom.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There I am.
There you go, okay.
So we did this one,
I
credit
can go
card,
back to her again.
cash receipts, we did. Fraud prevention, we did.
that one.
Accounting, auditing, and financial, we did. Balanced budget, we did. Cap of the CIP, we did. So these are the ones we done, what we did.
And then we tabled the rest.
And we tabled the rest over here.
John's
Okay.
loading one down there, I'm
So
not
I'm
sure
to
which one.
understand, I get the treasurer to sign, I get the town clerk
The
to
ones
sign
that
for a
require-
particular one.
Yep,
If there's no line for that,
two, I believe.
they're,
Two for the treasurer, two for the town clerk, one for petty cash and one for, credit card.
yep.
Debt
The
management.
credit card is town clerk and treasurer, the accounting, auditing, and financing, that's treasurer.
Balance reserve,
The
investment policy.
budget policy, balance and budget, that's just the treasurer, and this one is nobody.
There it is.
The capital program and budget policy, that's it. So, once those are signed, they're approved and they're going on the website.
Correct.
And yeah, they get sent to Patrick Shell, please.
How do you spell this last name again?
A question?
Yeah, I'll ask a question.
SCHELD,
SCHELD.
I believe, yes.
Okay. He should be on my computer.
He should be, if not, get in touch with me and I'll.
I will.
What the hell is this one? Oh, that's, the library. This one is cover for all of these.
Why do I throw it through as one, two?
She has a question.
Okay.
Or she's had it.
We are good,
Almost.
Lance,
yes.
petty cash. What are we talking about? I mean, it says it'll be determined, so any group can come to us, any volunteer, department, committee, board, group member can establish a petty cash system. So they come to us and say, hey, I need a petty cash account, right, where we put it in a lockbox and Maria and or treasurer, and one individual has, that individual or someone has access to that they have.
Generally speaking, these organizations have their own petty cash and manage it themselves.
This just makes it more documented.
Okay, but it's tying our treasurer into having the lockbox and a key, right?
Not necessarily, but yeah.
Alright, maybe I misread that then. Because what I read, it said the custodian.
We
or the
have
treasurer.
a petty cash box, and anybody who needs petty cash out of it can take it.
Okay.
And it is managed by notes and, all right, you know, Mac took $40, yada, yada. He has to come back with the cash or receipt.
Oh, this is, okay, I'm misunderstanding petty cash then. Okay, alright.
Thank you for being diligent about reading it.
No problem.
Yay. That's how I interpreted it anyway.
That one's good to go.
To the treasurer and town clerk, yeah.
That's why you didn't have it. This one's treasurer, town clerk.
Okay. And I have to wait for Maria to sign these.
Have a student in my class whose name is spelled exactly the same way as Maria's, but it's pronounced.
You wonder how crazy, I mean,
Huh?
I've read all through the, and you didn't read through the informational or the guidance section of each one of these.
So,
Okay.
I
So,
just want to be an old
you're-
one.
It's today's.
No, it's
Today's, but it's still showing item D on there. I thought we were striking that and removing that from future agendas.
We-
D,
Yeah,
dog?
I pen forward.
I don't know. I guess it comes down to, Tammy, did you remove from your,
Your mic is off.
sorry, Tammy, we're removing item D
Under board
that
business.
under board business, yeah, I sent an email.
As long as it's there, I'll address that. I will be cutting logs this week. Okay. As long as item D there, Hearst House is on the agenda for this week, I will address it. I will be cutting logs this week. I don't know who's going to be sawing them. Nobody has approached me as to where the logs will be delivered, or who is taking them, or even how many logs we need.
Did you see where the state is putting together some funding for buildings like that to be restored?
Yes, there's multiple grants available, again,
Yeah, they're trying to make the
for
towns.
new, or not new, but for,
Okay. Yeah, I was told I needed 8,
Buildings.
10, and 12-foot logs, but not how many.
and then there's also some grants out there for, previous work done, I believe. I've seen a couple. Brett, sorry, Terry, you had a question on one of the warrants?
Put it down
I
there.
did, so
Yeah.
the money for the secretary for the ARPA,
Yes,
where does that come from?
that would come out of the ARPA funds.
It comes out of the ARPA funds, so who votes on this?
That would be, I would assume that would be the person that we put in charge of the ARPA funds for, until we have the vote on the major purchase.
Because I thought in order to use the ARPA funds, the board had to vote on the ARPA funds.
Not for salaries.
Yeah, not for, I think there's a number on that too. I don't know exactly what the number is, but when ARPA first came out and we elected somebody the head of the ARPA funds, there was a minimum or a maximum number, which I can't remember what it is, that they could spend without prior approval on that type of stuff. I believe.
We must have that somewhere.
This is actually the second payment for our secretary. Yeah, we made one.
So
I
when
do
are
remember
we
it
going
being-
to decide what we're gonna be doing with the ARPA?
I don't know, I've been busy.
No, I'm talking about the board.
Oh, well, they don't know because I've been busy.
So what we have to have, so John, I believe, is going to the next meeting representing the select board and bringing our, thoughts about a grader and possibly other equipment that the town needs. And this money would, ease the burden on the town for purchasing.
We actually brought that up at the last meeting.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it made.
But you didn't put it in writing, John.
But what we needed was, it has to be filled up by Mac. Mac has to put out a form that Brenda is requesting that covers the request for the funds to potentially be used for the grader and for a tractor. I believe is what we were
Consider
talking.
this the request. That is 3 itemized bids
We
from.
need copies of those forever.
Yeah, we'll need copies, I can get you copies of
Yeah,
it.
you wanna follow them through John, he's gonna
Okay.
represent the town.
Yeah, John, we've got those here, and we'll make copies. and-
But he's right, we need to get an estimate on the tractor.
We need to get the thing lined up, and I figure, seeing how Mac has got the contacts, we can get Mac to get this thing, we'll get the piece done, turn it in. Obviously, we've read, the select board, and I know I haven't, I'm sure Brenda has read the latest, greatest updates on ARPA, but my understanding is there may have been another one that came out post that one, that now has to be viewed as well.
Might as well keep changing it.
Yeah, it's why, if you don't spend it, you're gonna go crazy, they keep changing the rules.
Yeah.
So the longer we have it, the more they're gonna put some kind of spin on this.
And we have received the second
We should have the
installment.
last and final installment. One of the notes that came out was it was gonna be less than what was originally anticipated, so.
Surprised,
Waiting to-
why the state needed some of it?
I have no idea what the state did. I have to reconcile that with Vera, who showed me the deposit, but I said, so what's the total amount? So I don't have that.
So the last deposit has been deposited.
but it's not the full amount that we expected.
I don't believe so, John, but I'm waiting for the actual bank statement.
That would be on our next, financial report, correct?
Should be.
Yep,
Should be.
okay. Yeah, if you wanna work with Mac on that,
Yeah.
I think most of the information that you need is right here.
Yeah,
It would just be.
the tractor.
The tractor. And, I can talk with him about, we just went through this at the school for the, basically the exact same size tractor that he would be looking at. And I can get him the contacts for that too, if he
Okay.
so needs.
Yep.
What brand?
We ended up going Coyote.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Nope, from Pete's Repair over in Morrisville.
Yeah.
A very local salesman, somebody you all know.
Somebody's missing plants.
Really took great care of us at the school, so.
Nice.
Lance is missing.
MIA?
You read it to us, so
Thank you.
Alright,
hopefully you have knowledge of it.
okay.
Any others?
So on to remove the fast repair from there on in.
Yes, Lance gave us the update today, and if anything moves forward on that, somebody help me.
The one before the other, we do know that we had a second, the one vendor out of the 4 for the furnace replacement
Okay.
dropped out, said they weren't even gonna try to bid for it. We did have another vendor, I think it was Gage, I'm not sure, if he come in,
Bernie Gage?
I believe so. I
Yep.
think they were the ones who came on site last week, was Bernie Gage? And they told Kathy they would send her a estimate. I'll get on that. And I believe we're still waiting for the final estimate, but we're down to 3.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them said that it could be serviced and used for this season, correct?
Holbert feels, what Holbert told me, which is the first person who gave us the bid, they said that, they think that we could probably get it serviced for this season. It's already in use, I mean,
Right.
we could probably get it serviced for this season. And he would have to reassess, but he wasn't unwilling to service it, unlike the prior heating cooling expert who said that it was no longer serviceable.
There's no report that there's a hole in the back of the plenum or anything like that.
Well, he didn't go and take it apart to look tight, and there was nothing identified by the prior company.
I mean, you pull a burner out, put a flashlight in there and look at the back of the plenum. If there's no hole in there, no signs of major deterioration, you should be able to put a new nozzle in there and go.
Right.
And I wonder if the not wanting to service is because it's an older boiler and it may not be as easy as some of the newer ones. May require a little more work.
Well, it's neither one of them are boilers, they're forced air heaters.
Forced hot air, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because people are so busy, they don't need to take shit jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to have those, but I really think that's something we look into hard in the spring. I mean, unless this thing,
Go south.
goes really far south really quick.
Right.
I think we ride this pony till she collapses.
I would like to add that in 2 of the 3 people that I've spoken to, providers, they all still say that the split units that keep getting suggested are not a real good option up here. Just FYI.
You
Matter
mean
of fact, they weren't even gonna quote it.
where they wouldn't have one unit service both areas?
No, like, oh God, what's it called?
Be like heat pumps.
Heat pumps.
Oh.
We're talking
Oh,
heat
yeah.
pumps. I know that there's more modern heat pumps, blah, 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 but they're all saying the same thing. When you get down below 20 degrees, you're still gonna need those furnaces.
Okay.
I know Mercy talked me right out of a heat pump.
Yeah. Well, the problem is when you have a very small room, like a little area, the heat pump will work great for you because what happens is it just keeps sucking more and more electricity trying to get your temperatures up, and you hit that point right where you're throwing more money out of electric. So that's what they're saying.
And with the price agreement on electric, we don't need that.
Right.
She didn't hear me.
So for
I said with
town
the price
furnace
agreement on electric
replacement
charges, we don't need
update,
that.
for town furnace replacement update, are we tabling that to spring?
We'll continue to have John work on estimates
So
and
keep
quotes
that
and
on
stuff.
that
Yep,
part of it.
yep. And if he gets.
We still need to have it serviced.
Service, so
Okay.
I wanna go back to that one.
Do we wanna go to Holbert, who said it's serviceable? He felt it was serviceable, and see if they'll come up and
See if
service
he'll
it?
come up and service it. If he'll come up and service it and it can withstand one more servicing,
Right.
by all means.
I would agree with that.
It gets us through one more season, then in our 5-year plan, we can repair the furnaces or replace the furnace.
The
I don't think
CIP.
we need I don't think so. I think that one's,
We have discussed it.
yes, we have discussed it. We have beat this horse.
Alrighty, I'll take care of it.
A lot of horses.
Just to clarify though, we're telling John to green light
Might
the
have
service
to
from
move out
Halbert.
there.
John is green lighted on service from whoever it was that said that they would come and service it. He said Holbert was his thought, but he wasn't 100% sure. He would look at his notes.
I believe that name is familiar. I think that's the same one we said last time.
Okay.
Excellent.
Any others?
I got it.
You know
I didn't
more
ask you.
than I am, so.
You would be under
What's that
visitors.
for me? Oh,
Well, I just, Nemrick did send their, what they, you know, the numbers that would do, and then this other guy that's willing to do, you know, you wanted numbers of taking the documents off the property for 10 days and having them scan it and everything.
Is your mic on?
Basically- What?
Is your mic on?
Basically, what these people do is they take the documents off the property for 10 days, scan. It's a $30 an hour charge and it's $7 cents a page, depending on how many pages we have. So it comes to between probably $25,000 to $30,000.
To do what then?
This is the electronic
Just to
records?
scan them,
This is for electronic records?
Yes.
for just the land records. not
That's to
the
scan them
permits.
off-site.
That's to scan them off-site.
Which
That's
makes
not
everything
the permits,
digitized.
that's- Well, it makes the land records digitized. And
So
then-
it doesn't cover everything.
Okay.
No. And then,
And with this
Nemrick,
Nemrick-
and then they would attach us to Nemrick, at which part Nemrick takes over.
So it doesn't matter which way you go, you're still dealing with Nemrick.
Yes.
Never
So if we
handles
deal
it
with
for the
Nemrick
state.
directly, it's $695 for the land module.
Excuse me.
It's $500 for annual support for that land module, updates, things like that, and then $500 for nightly backup. So it's on our computer for ourselves, and it's on their cloud for backup too.
Told you there's one more.
So quick math says it's $1,000 a year for their service?
Correct.
500,
For the land module, here.
and the backups,
If we
right?
do the portal,
Yeah,
after we get, I would say, 40 years at least of land records scanned, so that somebody could actually do a title search remotely. Then we could attach to the portal, which is $800 one-time setup fee and $1,200 annual hosting fee, where they would take the payments, the digitalized payments, send us a check twice a year.
mhm. So,
Okay.
soup to nuts, it would cost us without the one-time fees, it would be $2,200 a year once we get a portal set up. 500 for the land support, 500 for backups, 1,200 for,
Well, I don't know
Portal.
if you need if you've got it on the portal.
you always need backups.
I know, but is that part of your hosting?
I don't know how they have it written, I'd have to,
Probably $2,200 a year to have them host our digital site, and then we wouldn't have the
So-
digitalizing stuff ourselves.
Is the question is though, do they charge the $2,200 even if we have this other guy do the scanning?
Oh yeah, that's just scanning.
Okay, so
See,
that,
we could do the
so
scanning
let's just
ourselves.
compare apples to apples. So if we're talking, we're gonna pay this guy, what was your number, to pay this guy to
Well, if
take?
you want them taken off site to have them scan it, that's one option.
Okay, how-
25 to 30,000.
25 to 30,000.
If
Okay,
we scan
now-
it,
Okay, so this is us
In-house.
getting the scanning equipment and paying somebody in our building to scan our
we
documents.
have the scanning equipment in that
Copier.
that copier.
copiers.
Now, are you gonna
Scan.
scan that to your email and then email it back to yourself?
Nope.
Do you have to scan the
That
plats?
gets
Do you
all
have
set
something?
up We have a laptop for that purpose.
Okay.
For everything.
That's all set up. You index your document, you scan it into your
Okay.
web module.
So what
That's
would
all
be
set up.
what would be the cost to us if we were to go that route?
It would be, if you did it with me, I get $20 an hour working here, and I'd probably do 5 to 8 hours on a Friday. So it would be as we go along. That's what Fletcher's done.
How many, yeah, I mean, you must have a rough idea of how long it would take.
I don't know. I mean, we scan documents all the time, and it doesn't take that long. Of course, you'd have to index them into the
System.
thing, and we want to incorporate permits into that too, not just land records, you know, so that we would have all of 2022 documents on there that we could access in-house.
Yeah, but it's not gonna cost us $30,000.
No, it's not gonna cost $30,000.
Okay. That's basically what I was trying to get at.
That was the question I was asking, is what's the,
Yeah, it's not gonna, and we can do it in here, so we're actually like organizing records, we know where things are, they're going in the system, we can access.
does that mean if we were to find something that's out of place, it wouldn't just be scanned into the same place it's at, it could be put in the correct?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
There's one other advantage to this, because once the system is up and running, we start immediately on a go-forward basis. Everything that's new
Right,
comes in under that
another
system.
step to the recording.
And then-
Everything gets
So-
scanned going forward and then we
If-
work backward.
If we go with the other guy, would that mean that everything from this point forward would then have to be sent to him at a later date?
No, then we would be scanning it
Still,
ourselves.
Okay. So either way, we're gonna be scanning some documentation
Either way,
into the
the new
system.
procedure will be scanning the documents. So for us to learn how to do that, going forward and going back, is a good idea. And then if things are out of place, we can fix them
The records remain secure because they stay here.
and they
which was-
stay here.
Which was an important feature
Yep.
for that. And it's just records that they're taking, not
And
the
there's
maps and all the other stuff.
$27,000 in the book fund, which is for preserving and digitalizing records that we have now.
Okay.
And if you were, you know, like, if you were thinking of doing anything like that, if you took like $20,000 from possibly ARPA and added it to that, you could go for, I think you could go for more than the distance.
Okay.
It is an acceptable ARPA fund and other towns are using it right now.
Alright.
One more question on this. Is there I mean, I hear about the portal, I hear about backups, I've heard about the system that connects. What about per gig fee or per record? Does Nemrick have a fee for that? Or is it just, hey, we can push up 10 terabytes of scans to them and it's the same price as if we
You
push
mean on
up
the
1
land
kilobyte?
module? Like what would the land module hold?
Is the land module holding all this information?
The
Okay,
land
yeah.
module that we purchase and is on our laptop that they help us install
And then that's-
and manage.
Okay, that's the interface. So how much data can that hold?
That's the question.
They would have to come and show, I mean,
No,
they're holding towns worth, their land record modules are holding, Fletcher's got so many more books than we do.
Right, but
We're
what John is asking is what is the capacity of the laptop that we have, correct, John?
Well,
Oh,
the capacity or
we
is
need
there
a
an additional
laptop to hold the land module.
Okay.
So we have to purchase a laptop as well, so that's an
Anyway.
additional expense. Okay.
Is it an I'm ignorant of this. Is a
Because
land
the thing
module
is, like,
external
if somebody
storage?
came into
Sounds
the
like
office
it's internal storage.
Is
to-
it internal?
to, you know, search in the vault, they would actually go to the laptop and print it from there instead of pulling apart the books. So,
And then-
like when I go to Hyde Park, all their books are bound, you can't separate them. If I find what I want, I go to the computer and it prints from there. I don't take it apart, like we take our books apart all the time.
And then
And that's wear and tear on the books
and
and
then
the
through
documents.
Nemrick, we would end up charging and getting paid twice a year for whatever anybody pulls.
Exactly,
Okay.
whatever anybody pulls remotely.
We get paid.
That
We
makes
get
us,
paid $1 a page like we do here.
open
They
24/7.
charge us, they charge $2.50 a page, so they keep $1.50 a page.
That's a pretty
And we
good
get
deal for
our,
them.
we get our $1 a page just like we do now.
Yeah.
What if we want $2 a page?
We'd probably have to.
Would they charge
with that.
And they have to charge
We have to pay.
$350.
Well, I only ask because we have to pay for this, right, somehow.
Right.
We have to get the money in to pay for this, so we have to figure out what a per page would
I
be.
think what we,
And
what
people
we
have to
charge
pull
per
documents.
page, I think some of that's state mandated. Like, the state will raise, like, we can charge $4 an hour for somebody to do research.
Right,
That's an up from $2 an hour. I think some of that's mandated that we can charge.
Yeah,
Well, we
land
might have to-
surveyors and
we might
lawyers
have to
don't
look
care,
into that.
right? They just pass it on to the customer.
Yeah.
right. Well,
Kathy would know that. Kathy would be able to answer your question.
Is there any way you could get us an idea as to how much, well, you'd have to see what the interface is of the program as far as how much documentation you could upload in a 8-hour day? But,
Time study.
yeah,
I mean,
basically,
it would
that's what.
actually, like, they'd have to show me what, you know, the indexing part, like, as far as taking apart a book and scanning things, I do that all the time and send it to attorneys, you know, whoever, people that are researching will email things to them.
Okay.
Do you have documents or plats that are larger than what we can scan?
You mean like for maps? Those we have on CDs,
Okay,
and then we can print them off.
okay.
Mike Jarvis did that for us.
So they're already scanned.
They're already on CDs.
Yeah.
But we would put them on so that somebody could remotely pull those.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I just, again, I just want to go back to the per meg type thing. I know it's kind of in the land module, but we want to make sure there isn't some kind of fee in there. I understand 1,200 for,
Well,
you know, the portal.
$695 covers the purchase of the land module.
Right. 500 covers its
And I would
yearly
think the land
maintenance.
module would contain
I think,
what we
John,
have.
I think what you're talking about
Yeah,
is something that you would actually have to read that.
yeah, I think that's what it's gonna
I
come
think,
down to.
yeah.
Because when it gets into the cloud, there's so much per meg,
Yeah.
right? So if we're uploading 50 years of data,
Well,
There
then
may
you
be
don't
a
think
fee
that's
that we
part
can-
of like the annual support?
I don't know, I'll take a look at it
Single
after the meeting.
module,
I'll take a look
which
at
is
it after the meeting.
$500 a year, and then the disaster recovery agreement, nightly backup,
I don't think it's part of that, no.
$500. All right, well, this is what he said it would cost us.
I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek.
Yeah, yeah, I got these for you guys.
Perfect.
There you go.
I don't think that's anything we're gonna make a decision on.
No, I know, I told him that you would, our select board mulls things over.
Yeah. Oh, you jump into something and that's when you
No, I know.
end up in trouble.
Unless it's
No.
really expensive, and then we just,
Well,
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But the thing about that
Must be good.
is you would start off with the $695 and then the 500 and 500. And we would be, that would take us a while to get up to the 40 years of records before we would ever want to attach to the land records module.
I can
So-
ask Adam, I know Adam. Adam
Yeah,
Saunders? I
talk
know.
to Adam.
Yeah.
Call
I'll ask
him.
him.
And that's,
I've got his number.
Adam is which one?
Adam Saunders is one of,
Is he
with
the
Emory.
on-site guy or is he the
He's
network guy?
Emory,
Oh,
which is
okay.
ultimately
He's
why I'm
Emory.
asking the question.
Okay.
He's the one that has worked with Fletcher and he's guided them through everything. I've got his number for you, John.
I feel,
Oh, I know.
I feel
You got
confident
it? Okay.
that we can let John and
Okay.
Tammy mull over some of this information. And when you
And
have a
Jared.
better idea as to what it is that we're actually looking to pay, we can make a decision on it then. But right now, it seems like there's a lot more questions than answers.
It's a fireproof, though.
That did,
Alright.
with that being said, if anybody wants to hit the little green button and make a
I
motion.
make a motion.
Hi,
Everybody's.
Josh.
Okay, hang on.
What's in front of you?
We're not discussing that.
Okay,
I will, we cannot discuss that due to the fact that there are,
confidentiality.
confidentiality.
no,
This,
I know, we can't discuss it in
Dan
open
Minor.
meeting.
this is just a FYI.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
because it's
we
nothing
were-
that pertains to
No.
anything we
We
can
were
do.
not intended to do anything about this.
It's just
For
another
informational
place
purposes,
Okay, okay.
we are being kept in the loop so that nothing gets lost.
for Peace of
Yeah,
mind.
okay, I got it.
Did you want a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman?
John.
I started it. I make a motion to
And then
adjourn.
second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good night.